Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to just give it a few minutes while people are arriving. Wow, the numbers are looking great. Thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate you taking the time to come and learn more and get excited with us. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello. Ooh, we are at 35 and counting. Hi, everybody. All right. As you are coming in, please pop into the chat. Where are you in the world? Your city and country. Please let us know where you are. Berlin, Bangladesh. Hello. London, England. In Busan. Hello. We are so excited that we are expanding to new regions. Look at us. Look at Korea. Hi there. We can see you in the chat. Mexico, we see you too. Kenya, Uganda, all of our new regions. Welcome. Poland, Slovenia, Joburg, India, Sweden. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And the US has entered the building. Welcome, another new region of ours that we're really excited to expand to this year. Good day. For some of you, it's morning. For some of you, it's afternoon. For some of you, it's evening. Welcome and thank you for joining us. All right. I think that we are looking healthy in terms of numbers and us just getting started. It's midnight in Busan. Ooh, that is good for us to know because as we develop this fellowship, we're going to need to think about time zones. This is wonderful. Building a global fellowship has been fun and challenging, but also really fun. Thank you for staying up, Sufyan. Thank you so much for staying up. All right. Hello and welcome, everybody. We are just so happy to have you here. This is the webinar for you to discover more about beVisioneers, the fellowship program. So beVisioneers, the Mercedes-Benz Fellowship, is the biggest global fellowship where planet-positive ideas can come to life. We are here to foster local, regional, global exchange, something that is not being done with young people at this level and at this kind of scale of having thousands of young people joining together from different parts of the world to amplify our impact and to build environmental leaders for tomorrow. This is what we're all here for. And I will make the grand assumption that you are all some of these young environmental leaders, eco-innovators that have great ideas that you would love some support and community in order to help you to foster that idea and build it into something that is, a real impactful project. Okay. I have with me today two very special people that are going to help me in the Q&A, and I'd love for them to introduce themselves. Babalwa and Efe. Let me start with Babalwa. Babalwa, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Babalwa. I am a current fellow under the beVisioneers Fellowship. I'm so excited to be here today. My project is around turning organic waste into organic compost, and there's been so much development in my project that I'm excited to share. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you, Babalwa. Thank you for coming and being with us. So Before FA goes, just a little bit of a note. This is the second year that our fellowship program is running. So Babalwa is one of our pioneers, one of our first 100 fellows of our first year. We're so happy to have her here because this is going to hopefully be an extremely open and from experience-driven kind of sharing from her experience with us this year. I will pass over to my colleague Efe to introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Efe from beVisioneers team. I'm responsible for admissions and application process, and I'm so happy to be here. So among you, is there anyone who is having some questions about the admission process and application process? I'm here to answer it. And a big welcome to everyone who is interested in our webinar today.
Okay. I forgot to, thank you so much, Efe Babalwa. I forgot to introduce myself, so let me do that too. My name is Chiedza, and I am the Fellow and Community Development Director at beVisioneers. My role encompasses being here with all of you as we develop this really big community that we are trying to build. Yes, we know that it is at scale. There are many of us, but we're really trying to also know each other, be with each other as we develop our projects at the same time. So we would love to, I'm going to first take you through a little bit more about the program really quickly, quick little presentation. And then immediately after that, we want to go into some questions. So if you have questions about admissions, Efe will be there to answer them for you. You can start putting them in the chat already. We will go back to the chat and start with the questions. If you have questions about the actual fellowship experience itself, please direct those. Babalwa will be the one who will answer those. And then if you have questions about the actual fellowship program, the programming, I'm the one who'll answer those questions. First, let me take you through what it is about. So hopefully this will cover some of the questions that you may have. beVisioneers is a 12-month intensive hybrid learning program. By hybrid, we mean there are online elements and there are in-person elements. This was the pilot year, and we had 100 fellows. Next year, this application process that is currently going and ending in January, we are looking for 500 fellows. And then the year after that, we'll be looking for 1,000, and we're going to grow and grow and grow until we have this massive community of young people whose ideas were fostered and who have community to support them as they build their ideas and are creating great impact. The fellowship program is free of charge. Of course, you don't have to pay to be in it. And we do provide basic financial support for those that apply and are not able to otherwise participate in the program. So those that have some sort of economic disadvantage, we make sure that we provide some financial support for them to fully participate in the program. Upon completing the intensive program, we look at it as you're a fellow in that first year, and then you are still in this community for years to come. This community is supposed to build. You don't just do 1 year and say, bye, I'm out. It continues. We continue as a community as we continue to grow. Go to the next slide. All right, so who are we looking for? I'm super excited to see all the different cities and countries that are represented here. Thank you for putting that into the chat. We are going to be in India, Kenya, Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, Switzerland, Uganda, and the USA. All of EU is also included there. Kenya, Uganda, South Africa. Okay, sorry, we have all the countries there. If you are 16 to 28 years old at the time that you apply, so this question comes quite often, I'll be turning 29, in March or in April during the beVisioneers year. As long as you are 28 at the time that you apply, you are eligible. If you have a Planet Positive idea, already have a project in the form of a prototype, you are the correct candidate for us. If you already have a profit-making venture, unfortunately, that does not, you're not eligible for the program. We're looking for those who are in idea phase and who are in prototype phase, still in the beginning phases of their project. Okay, so why should you join? The commitment is 24 hours a month, which is a kind of collection of some learning experiences. Our collaborative learning experiences are split across 3 labs: environmental sustainability, venture sustainability, and personal sustainability. There is a wonderful one-on-one mentorship opportunity where you get to just talk about your personal development along the journey throughout the year. You have a venture coach who then coaches you as you develop your product, your service, your program, whatever it is that you're building through the fellowship. You'll have a coach that you meet with. It's hybrid, so of course there are the online elements, but also great opportunities to meet in person. We had a regional summit where all the fellows from each region met together for just less than a week. We have local hubs where 4 times a year you meet within your local cities and towns. Lots of great opportunities to meet in person. You have the opportunity to apply for financial support to enable your participation, as I said before. Also, some wonderful opportunities, of course, because you're building a new thing from idea to launch. You'll be able to be awarded grants that you can apply for in order to amplify and accelerate your project for it to really become reality. In addition to this, I did talk about those in-person activities, etc. Travel, accommodation expenses are paid for these key fellowship program events. Okay, we go on next. All right. Ooh, that was it. It was a lot, but I think that we got through the most foundational elements of the program. So now I would really love to be open to some of your questions. I will start with the one that I see right there at the bottom. Efe, if you're older than 29, can you join?
Unfortunately, you cannot. The eligibility criteria, as Chiedza mentioned in the beginning, is between 16 to 28 at the time of application period. For upcoming years, you might be following us. Maybe there will be an extension on the age limitations, but for cohort 2, this right now we are going through, it's unfortunately not possible.
All right, we are ready for your questions. Thank you so much, Efe, for covering that. Please drop your questions here. We are really ready to answer them. Oh, great question that we have been asked several times. Can I move countries during the fellowship? The answer to this is both answers. Let me answer for the yes. Yes, you may move countries if you are moving to one of our other countries. So if you're moving from Switzerland to Kenya, if you are moving from, something like that, from one of our countries to another one of our countries. If you are moving in the middle of your fellowship to a country that is not within our scope, then that would make you no longer eligible to continue in the program. So if that is your case, please, I would say just wait, apply the following year when you know that you're going to be stable and within one of our scope countries. There's a great question here. What are local hubs and what do they do? I'm going to pass this on to Babalwa, who has actually been to a local hub event. Babalwa.
Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be here today. I'm looking forward to answering this question in particular. So the local hubs really are an opportunity. I'm going to speak into some of the values of being a beVisioneer, and we look at co-creation, and we also look at sustainability. And basically, the local hubs are an ability for us as fellows to co-create. So it's ideating together and coming up with ways of how can we make sure that we are creating a hub that is bringing value to us, whether it's helping us access networks, or whether it's helping us kind of brainstorm our ideas and flesh them out, or whether it's an opportunity to connect with each other. I think one of the biggest values that makes this fellowship very valuable is that it's not just a project that you're going to be working on, but you also get the opportunity to be a part of a community. And I think that's one of the most rewarding things that you can ever experience from the program. And that's exactly what we try to do with the local hub. You meet with fellowships that will be local. And yes.
Thank you so much, Babalwa. Were you done?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't sure. Thank you so much. I am so proud of all of our fellows this year, because I think the magic of local hubs is that these are fellow-led and fellow-organized. We don't tell the fellows what it is that they need to do at the local hub or what activities to do. So at the first local hub that happened in 12 cities around the world, we had something from like people going to a chicken farm, to people hiking in the woods, to people going to a conference. The fellows decide as a group together what it is can be most enriching for their local hub experience. And you have the opportunity to do this 4 times within the year. Babalwa, please go ahead.
Yes, I'd just like to highlight in terms of us having kind of ownership on what we did at our local hubs. One of the biggest things that I think I really, really appreciate is we also got the opportunity to manage and organize ourselves. So it's one thing to have an idea, but it's another thing to actually put everything that you need to execute it. So I think learning as well how to organize yourself, whether it's mobilizing people to kind of believe in your project or see the need for your project. I also see the local hubs being valuable in that way. So thank you so much, Chiedza.
Super. I'm trying to see if there are admissions questions right now. There's a question. What if I launched but I'm not profiting? Can I apply? Tatiana, at this stage, if you are applying and saying you already have a venture, you would not qualify, is what I would say. This is a bit tricky. This is a bit tricky. I would say you cannot apply. If you are coming with a venture that already exists, you cannot apply. You would not be eligible to apply. Why I'm saying it's tricky is, of course, we realize that the coaching is part of it, right? So there are some fellows that come in and they have an idea on day 1, and through the coaching process, that idea morphs and changes into something else. That has happened for quite a lot of fellows. Mostly because, of course, with our wonderful venture coaches, you do some like real root cause analysis and looking deeper into the problem. Maybe you might discover something else that actually is the real problem that you then need to address. So people do shift and change, but I think that once you have something that is already profitable, we are taking people back to the beginning. So that's why I would say it's tricky. Somebody asked, if that's okay, I'm going to move on. Somebody asked, how many local hubs are there? Currently, there are 12 because we have the 3 regions that we're working in. But of course, as we expand to more regions, there'll be lots more cities and lots more fellows. So to just give you an example, South Africa, it was Durban, Johannesburg, and Cape Town, if I remember correctly. So we kind of chose the major cities where fellows can then like transport themselves to these major hub cities. In India, it was like 5 major cities within India. The more fellows we have, the less travel time that people will have to have, because of course, the local hubs can be bigger in smaller cities. So it really depends. Next year, there'll be quite a lot more. All right, I'm trying to really find somebody was asking about the forms that need to be submitted for the application process. Efe, can you guide us through?
Sure. Let me answer one of the questions as well related to this from Diane, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, as a CAD file for your prototype, and also which documents you need to submit. In the beginning of your application page, we do not require any document or any file regarding your project. We just we're looking for a kind of explanation, written explanation of what is your project, what is your planet positive idea, what is your solution about that idea as text introduction. And if you have any visual material, any presentation, any pictures of your prototype, for example, you can welcome to upload those documents, but it's not required, it's not mandatory. You can apply with basic your introduction about your name, country, age, a document only, a kind of identification document with a picture and date of birth on your any identity. It can be driving license, it can be a passport, it can be your national ID. That's all we're looking for in the beginning phase. And in the upcoming evaluation phase, if we need more information about your project or your details, we will be reaching out to you. But in order to be eligible for evaluation, you don't need to submit any additional supportive document.
Thank you so much, Efe. I'm looking, there are a bunch of questions. There's one that I think I would love to talk about, and then I'll pass it over to Babalwa maybe to add from her experience so far. How diverse and inclusive is the program for sexual and gender minorities? How open, inclusive, or safe is the learning space? So I will say in terms of our admissions criteria and in terms of our selection criteria, not admissions criteria, selection criteria, we make sure that we have 50% female or non-binary fellows in each cohort. So that is just really, really important for us. In terms of diversity and inclusion, I will say, if you had the opportunity to take a look at even the beVisioneers team, we want to make sure that the fellows can see themselves in us as a team. Our team come from all walks of life, from all over the world. Efe here, he's from Turkey, I'm from Zimbabwe. We've got team members from Chile, from France, from everywhere. And this is just for us to be able to make sure that we are creating a space where all the questions are being asked as we develop this program, all the difficult conversations are being had, intersectionality.com. Like, I think that it's just really, really, it's been such an intentional part of how we have built our team and how we have built the program. So I would say on that, I think inclusion and diversity is one of our priorities as we build this. And I think that we also are, as we are building, this is going to be our second year, we're also calling on our fellows to call us out and to help us to be better. So we have surveys, but we also have like casual conversations that we've had with fellows. We really are doing the best we can to make sure that this fellowship is a really safe place for everybody. So what was that? Babalwa, I would love it if any experience that you've had on this topic in terms of your experience would be great.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much, Chiedza. This one personally touched me a lot. But what I can definitely guarantee to everyone listening here is that every value that is up there as part of the Visioneers, and inclusivity being one of them, is exactly what the team tries their best to live up to. One of my personal experiences has been being able to open up and share what are the limitations within my life that are stopping me from being able to do well in my project, whether it's things that are stressing me, whether it's on a personal level or capacity level. I've found such an openness with each and every team member, but particularly, I don't know if I can mention names, but I was able to approach a beVisioneer team member and say, hey, listen, this is my situation. And from there, she was able to either give me advice and say, listen, you're not here because of, perfection, but it's a journey, and we're here to walk with you and hold your hand. And so what I want you to understand is that we believe in you. That's why you're here. And I hope that is able to push you through. And that's the epitome for me, really, of being inclusive, understanding that beyond just being a person who's coming with a project that I'm trying to bring to life, I'm also a human being, and recognizing my intersectionality. And that's one of the things that I'm so grateful to beVisioneers to, and grateful to be a part of a fellowship that sees me as a human being and sees my gifts and talents and how I can add value to the world, and then kind of helps me just to build up a project that can represent that.
Thanks, Babalwa. While you have the mic, there's a request here for some stories. Any stories that you can tell us about an experience in the program that helped you change something, a skill or something new that you learned or something for your project or something that was not great. I mean, a story. Somebody's asking for some fun stories. Let us know. Share.
So this one is it's not a fun story, but it is a story. And this has been part of one of the other things that beVisioneers offers, which is the venture lab. And so I have a venture coach. She's amazing. Her name is Pooja. And I realized also what I love about ventures is that we realize that as much as we're people, but some of the things that we need to outgrow that might either be stopping our projects, you get confronted with it. And so I'm calling it growing pains. And one of that was not asking enough questions with regards to my project. And so it's a bit funny, but Pooja would be like, okay, and then, and I'd say, oh, this is what we're trying to do. And she'd be like, oh, okay, and so she'd keep prodding me more and more and more and more. And even though I was like, I'm scared, I don't know, kind of ran away from her for a week or two. but learning that there are some things that I have to outgrow, and some of them being confronting the questions in my project that could possibly be the breaking point that I needed in my project. So yeah, that's really my personal experience in terms of learning that I have to confront some of the things in my project that are the place that I'm running away from in my project are the places where my breakthroughs in my projects are. So yeah, that's really my story.
Oh, that was absolutely beautiful. And I think a story of your own growth, but also like this like accountability that I think is absolutely beautiful. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
beautiful.
The beVisioneers community has been that from one fellow to another, we are very accountable to one another. Some of us even have sessions where if we were going to be working on a certain course, we kind of Zoom each other and be like, what do you think about this? And I think that then kind of falls onto the next part of what beVisioneers offers, which is a sustainability lab. So as much as you're bringing a project that's around the environment, you're also learning as well. And I think that's also it empowers you, because now you begin to understand the space that you're trying to solve problems in, which is really, really helpful, empowering, and you have people to hold you accountable, which is beautiful as well.
Oh, love all of that. And it's also so nice. We're also hearing Babalwa's story for the first time, a lot of us. So this is really, really, really beautiful to hear some of your accounts. I'm going to make a little bit of a switch over to Efe. Somebody is asking, what are the different types of financial support?
We have different types of financial support, which the main logic behind is make you access to internet and technological infrastructure plus your daily living costs during your participation to the program. All of the financial supports includes 12 months range to support you, and it's depending on your country's purchase power. So that's why we cannot give a kind of number or amount at the moment exactly for a specific region. It will be calculated based on World Bank and United Nations economical purchase power ratios. And again, in short, like we are supporting to get you a laptop to access our program. We are supporting you to pay your electricity and internet bills, and plus we are supporting you for your living costs like transportation, and if you, for example, need to work reduced hours to participate in the program, we're supporting you in terms of your daily costs. So this is the logic behind our financial support in that three topics.
Thank you so much, Efe, for that. I am going to make a quick switch. Oh, very simple question here. Do you pay for travel? No, you will not pay for travel. Travel would be covered by the program, which is so nice. Thank you, Babalwa, for that. Travel will be covered by the program. Someone is asking, how's the organization in terms of the schedule? I will pass over to Babalwa for this, mostly because we want the truth. So please go ahead.
Let me tell you something. This is the most organized group of people I've ever came across in my whole life. Very organized. So in terms of scheduling, you'll always know, in terms of, first of all, how our website is set up. So this is where we do kind of our forums and update each other. it works meticulously well, as well as scheduling our calls and sessions. So there's when you log into your kind of beVisioneers dashboard, it allows you to see all the different programs that you're going to be having, so you can choose which ones you want to go onto, and there's some compulsory ones. So there's always clarity in terms of the schedule. The only thing that is really confusing us and has us all kind of buzzing is the time zones. Oh my gosh, we have CET, then we have EST, then we have SAST. So that I literally find myself Googling every once in a while, like, what is EST in AST? So that's really the only will really be kind of converting the time zones, but they really tell, as you've seen in the pamphlet that we have, they state the different time zones, so you also don't get confused. But in terms of meticulous, it's very structured, very organized as well. Everyone, I think also because within the team, everyone has their designated role, and so everyone's always responding from Instagram all the way up to your emails. It takes an hour to 3 hours and someone will respond to you. So even if you have kind of a query that you have, 1 to 3 hours tops is what it takes for someone to get back to you. So yeah. Communication, 10 out of 10.
Oh, yay. I will be sending that back to our team. Thank you, Babalwa. There's a question here. What education level do we need? What must one be? Do you have to have an undergraduate degree? Must you be a student, etc.? So for this one, I will say the age range is all you need to worry about. 16 to 28. If you are in high school, if you have a doctorate degree, which we have that amongst our fellows, if you are between 16 to 28, that is all that we care about. And I think that we have learned quite some lessons through this, having this age range. And I think there's been just quite a lot of beauty in what the younger range versus the older range, I say being way older than the older range, the older range, how much learning happens across those generations, I guess, is what I will say. Babalwa, do you have any insight on like how it's been to have this like age range?
Absolutely, absolutely. So one of my fellows that I'm really close with, she's about 18. And we have one of the conversations that we're always having, or one of the conversations that we had at some point was about age. And because every fellow is so curious and wants to learn about the space that they are in, it's just watching these brilliant minds. And I must say, like, every fellow is so inspiring. Like every fellow that you meet, their story, what they've been through to get to where they are, their projects, just how they think, so inspiring. So it's some people even shocked at their age. Like, well, you are 18? Oh my gosh! Like, I wonder what I was doing at 18. So we are constantly inspired by one another, whether you're 28 years old or 16 to 18. So one of my very close friends within the fellowship, she's 18, and we get along perfectly fine. She always bounces back ideas, kind of gives me what's happening in the loop. Sometime last week, she was giving me, this is the most up-to-date app that we use now to track and project manage. I was like, oh, okay, thanks for the loop. So, you know, there's all of these benefits of being different age ranges. And I think that's really what makes it special. And it speaks into that inclusivity that we were talking about essentially. And one of the questions that I didn't answer properly that you asked, what was my personal experience in terms of inclusivity at our local hub that we have in Cape Town? There was going to be a park, and I asked, could I bring my son with? And they were like, absolutely. So, you know, he was everyone's baby. He was everyone's baby. We had an amazing time. He was learning, asking questions, and just the community. It's really a community. We don't just say that, we really mean it. You know, he was everyone's friend. On his birthday, they wished him happy birthday. So I also just want to say thank you to the fellowship for creating a community that is so tight-knit, and making it a priority for it to be hybrid, for us to meet online, facilitating that, and also meet physically. So yes.
Thank you so much, and for sharing so much. I think this is just so valuable to hear from you, the person who's really in it. I will move us to admissions. Efe, how many stages are there in the application process? I will add two other questions that I saw. When do you get to know if you are in, and when do you start?
Perfect. First of all, the applications are open now. We started in October, and the deadline is 15th of January. So if you are planning to apply, I would suggest to start it right now. And the notification period will be in April. We cannot give an exact date, unfortunately, right now. It will be up to the current situation of the applications, but we will be doing our best to notify everyone who applied in terms of their application result in April. And the program will start in July 2024. The application, we have 3 stages of the application. The first one is your submission. Like you will be applying, as I answered previously, with the basic information about yourself, your project. And if you are after a kind of very basic eligibility check about your application, like the age, the country, and the project stage, you will be invited to record an online motivational video via our application portal. It's not one-on-one interview. It is a kind of recorded motivational video. Then your evaluation will be held, and if you are shortlisted, you will have a kind of one-on-one in-person interview at the end of the application period. So we will have 3 stages, but the first thing that you should be worried about, just making your application submission before our deadline for Cohort 2 is 15th of January.
Perfect. Thank you. Super, super clear. And thank you for all the dates. I'm going to move us into a really important question that's been asked about the actual program, programming. What are the 3 labs, and is it something that we need to consider when applying? Also, how is the 24 hours a month committed and distributed? Okay, let me start with how is the 24 hours a month committed and distributed? And also say, of course, this was our first year. So even what the 24 hours was in our first 6 months, there have been changes and shifts made as we have listened to the fellows, heard back from them, gotten feedback, and made adjustments to what it may look like now. So that's the first caveat. But in essence, we have at this point in time 2 modules per month. So the modules could belong to the 3 labs. So environmental sustainability. So this is, how is your project making sure that it is applying environmental sustainability principles and practices as you are building whatever it is that you are building? How are you ensuring that it is a planet positive project instead of one that is, damaging our earth? Number 2 is the venture sustainability. So this is the venture development. So how are you building this? How are you building this business around or program around a product, a service, or a program that you are building? And then the last one is personal sustainability, which very, very important. I think everything should just be in this big bubble of like, we understand that being a young eco-innovator, being a young change maker, being a young entrepreneur can be lonely. It can be busy as you are still in university, working at the same time, still needing to be with your family, all the things. So how can we ensure that as we are young entrepreneurs, young venture builders, we are taking care of our mental health, aware of it, taking care of our, making sure that we can be resilient? How are you building as a person? How is your self building as a leader as you develop this project? So it's mostly about you and your own personal development. Really, really important. All 3 pillars work together in unison beautifully to help you build your project sustainably. Okay, and then, how's the 24 hours a month? I think I put that. So 2 of the labs, so on-demand content, so online learning for 2 modules per month. Those are followed by live sessions. So the live sessions are the ones where all fellows will attend. You do some workshopping, you give each other feedback, you get into breakout rooms, you get to know each other. This year, of course, we are all meeting all in one, but of course, as we go to new regions and think about time zones, this may end up being region-based as we grow, so that it fits to all the different time zones a bit better. And then you will have at the final week of each month, there is no module. There is instead, you meet with your mentor for an hour, and you also meet with your venture coaching group. venture coaching groups, which, you know, it's a scheduled time, but I have heard that these groups seep a bit more into just having like a WhatsApp group of these like 8 to 10 people that are the ones who are really there for you with your venture coach together, that walk along with you as you do different exercises, as you work on your project, etc. I would say those are the key elements that make up this 24 hours a month. And then, of course, time to work on your actual project, which is the whole point. Yeah, okay. Let me take a look and see. Okay, FA question. If there is an issue with your application once submitted, can you redo it or send additional information? And how?
It's a very nice question. You can always reopen your application and adjust some details about your project after till we check the application itself. And also you can, whenever you have a question, a technical disability and everything, you can send us an email to request help. We would love to help you on your application process individually.
Thank you, FA, for that. I'm going to add an answer to a question here that I think is really, really important. If you apply and don't get accepted, will you get feedback on what's wrong with your idea? So first and foremost, no, unfortunately, we cannot give individual feedback to applications. But what I actually want to address on this question is the idea aspect. I think what is really important for us all in the room to be on the same page about is that, yes, of course, we are looking at the idea, but what is more important is your passion for the problem that you want to solve. So if you can make sure that that is clear, that you are really, really showing us how motivated you are to solve an environmental challenge, environmental problem, a community need, you know, then I think that this is exactly what we're looking for. All right. So yes, of course, we're looking at the idea, but I think the idea should be attached to this passion for a problem and for wanting to solve a problem for community. Babalwa, I'd love to ask you a question about your experience in like you and your peers and the ideas that people brought in. How do you think people are now looking at their ideas? They're now, you know, formed a bit. People are moving into prototyping. Some people are already in venture now. How has that transition been for all of you?
Thank you so much for asking this question, Chiedza. And while you were talking on the different labs, particularly looking at the personal sustainability lab, right? As these ventures are kind of taking their form and their shape, as I mentioned previously, there are growing pains that are taking place. And for me, and for my peers as well, a really valuable lab has been the personal sustainability lab. And reason being, you touched on mental health, and constantly when we come into that space and we have those workshops, we are given the tools that we need to be able to think through the different problems that kind of are coming up in terms of individually. We also begin to see that, oh man, even though it's a venture and I'm going through it, I'm not the only one who's experiencing that. And through that, it obviously creates a more stronger bond, but we're able to relate to one another. And because of that relation, we're able to do much better in terms of how we think about our projects. And you're like, I'm not alone. And that not alone has been also how we have held each other accountable and supported each other as we've gone into different stages of our ventures. So one of the things that also when we come into our venture sustainability lab that our coach does as well is she gives us the opportunity for us to spotlight each other. So you highlight what is the problem or something that you're facing within your project right now. And instead of her answering, she gives each fellow an opportunity to look at our problem with a fresh pair of eyes. And what that has done also is kind of bounce back that support and that bouncing off of ideas from fellows as well. And I think that bouncing off of ideas and sharing the personal growth and growing pains has really allowed us as fellows to be able to move into different stages of our ventures and really support one another And that, I think, has contributed the most into us being able to see results from where we started to where we are currently.
Oh, what a beautiful journey and what a wonderful way to end our webinar today. We want to say thank you. Thank you so much to everybody who showed up. Thank you for all your super valuable questions. I think that this was a wonderful example of, one question there can just provide so much support for many people in the room that may have the same question. So thank you so much for participating. We really appreciate you all. Please may you continue to ask questions on social media. Our team is ready to keep answering your questions. Babalwa, yes, go ahead.
Yes, please. So I just want to send some closing remarks to all the fellows out there. I know it's scary. I know you might be really worried, am I going to make it? Is my idea valuable enough? But I think I just want to drive home and encourage you, make the application. Make the application. We all know the fact that you are here listening means that you're passionate enough about this topic to want to solve it. So bet on yourself, please. Believe that you can do it. And the fact that you are here and the fact that beVisioneers exists means that they believe that there are young people out there that are going to be solving some of the problems and crises that we have out there. So we need you. Please apply. And thank you so much for being here.
Oh, what a star. Thank you. I'm not going to say any more. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Bye, 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 bye.